thought that was really cool that after sitting down and going through this book that they were already discerning whether or not the doctor was practicing, safe touch. Hey everyone, so today I thought I would do something a little bit different. I am going to give you guys a little flip through and review of this book called God Made All of Me by Justin and Lindsay Holcomb. And this is an awesome book. It's called God Made All of Me, a book to help children protect their bodies. And I think that we are in a really crucial time right now in society where we need to have some body talks. And so I was kind of trying to figure out what type of a book would I want to use to help my kids understand their bodies without getting too graphic just yet, because I have only an almost 7, a 4-year-old, and a 1-year-old. But I wanted something that could talk more about respect and privacy and not so much anatomy. So long story short, this book teaches a child that God made them and that they are important and that their body needs to be respected. So I'm just going to flip through some of my tags here. So it starts off with Genesis 1 verse 31. God saw everything he made and it was very good. And I love the art in this. It's very simple, a little modern, but it's very sweet. And so it starts off talking about how God made everything. And then if you're familiar with the Shorter Catechism, this question is the very beginning. Who made you? And of course, the answer is God. And so it's this conversation about a mother and a father and their 2 kids talking about God making everything, that things are holy, our bodies are holy and special. And so it just kind of goes through a little bit of that. And then it goes over, your hair. God made your hair. He made your eyes. He made your arms. He made your nose. And they're all different. They're all very special. And they're all unique. And it says, we can thank God that he made us in such a special and wonderful way after going through all the different body parts. And then this is when it kind of takes a little bit of a creative turn to get a little bit more with these specific private part respect issues. So it goes into saying, I can share a hug or a kiss if I want, right? Asked Kayla. And so basically this little boy, Kayla and her brother, are talking about different things that you can do or things that you maybe could say no if you want to. So they start talking about physical contact. So high fives or hugs, or, if somebody touches your elbow. And they talk about, not just the really inappropriate stuff, but even just your basic body contact that children should be able to say no. And so it goes on with someone giving a high five. And then if you don't want to be hugged or kissed or give a high five or a handshake, just say no, thank you. Now, I want to pause on that because I used to think, if a child doesn't want to give a high five or a hug, they're being disrespectful and rude. And I think what we are trying to relearn is that really being aware of who's around our kids. If a child doesn't want to say goodbye with a hug or whatever because they're just kind of cranky and tired, I like my children to have healthy physical contact, right? And so I do encourage that. But if a child doesn't want to, which thankfully we haven't had this issue where the child doesn't want to give some sort of a physical contact affection and they look very uncomfortable, that's something to pay attention to. Obviously, we don't want to look at everybody around our child and think, they could be a predator. They could be a predator. But teaching our children, that they do have control over their bodies starts with just the basic stuff. It doesn't all come back to, okay, if someone's going to touch you in your privates, then that's, we don't start talking about it once something has already happened. We want to start with the basic things about just respecting people's space, respecting how we touch each other. And this is hard with kids because they're touchy, but this is a great book that starts that conversation. So then it talks about it's okay to say no because we don't always want to be touched, even if it's by someone you love. And so it just shows some people, your daddy, your mommy, a teacher, a doctor. And then after this is when it starts talking about, different times when you might be touched, like a bath or if you go to the doctor. And it does a really good job differentiating between, you know, a situation if it makes you feel uncomfortable, or times when, you know, if your mommy and daddy's giving you a bath. So it helps guide a child to understand what maybe is an appropriate touch, you know, for like a doctor, or if your parents are helping you with a bath, and what might not be appropriate. So on this page it says, you are in charge of your body at the top. And you can see this boy here is touching her elbow, and she didn't like it, and so she told him stop. And it says, if you're confused about the touching, you can say no and go get help right away. Find daddy or me, the mom is talking in the story, and tell me about it. I love this page here. It talks about who makes you feel safe and strong. And then here it gives you actually a space where it says brainstorm with your child a list of people to help them feel safe. And I thought that was really cool, because as we're going through this, we start talking about people who make them feel comfortable. And that, you know, that's something we really want to be aware of, because those people that make our kids feel comfortable and loved, those are the people that we want our children to be around, right? Now, obviously, when we're talking about predators, there's a thing called grooming, and those are people who do the same thing. But this gives us a list to start being aware of those people that our children feel the safest with. And it gives us a sense of awareness, so we just know who is in our child's world. Now, if you're homeschooling, it's probably going to be a lot fewer people, and you're going to be a lot more involved in their day-to-day, moment-by-moment life, right? But this is still a good opportunity to start the wheel going in their brain about people who make you feel comfortable and what that feels like, and people who just give you this sense of, this doesn't feel right, or when I'm with them, something feels odd. Because we need to be aware of that, and our children need to be aware of that, because we're not going to be with them all the time. So I thought that was really great for them to start brainstorming. And then I love this. It starts talking about secrets versus surprises. And it talks about how someone may tell you to keep something a secret. And in our family, we haven't made a huge deal about we don't tell secrets, but we just don't tell secrets. And we have had a few conversations, and I'm trying to have more conversations about, you know, we don't keep secrets from people, especially ones where someone says, don't tell your mom and dad. If anybody ever tells you, don't tell your mom and dad, I want them to tell me. And so it goes along with the conversation where the dad is talking to his child, and the girl says, thank you for keeping me safe. And it's got some scripture references in here as well that can aid a child in, you know, listening to scripture and learning about how we can trust in God. And then at the very end, it has 9 ways to protect your children from sexual abuse. And this is 9 different ways. It may talk about, you know, how you talk to somebody, or what questions to ask, or, you know, instead of asking this type of a question, how to phrase things, how to, you know, clarify rules with the doctors. And it's just a great book. We actually just went to have our kids checked out by the doctor, and we had gone over this book one time, and then I bought it because I want to dive into it, you know, every now and then, just kind of refresh. And my daughter likes looking through the pictures and stuff. So anyways, we were at the doctor, and both of my kids referenced this book, and they were like, you know, I don't remember exactly how it went, but basically we had a conversation with them about how this was a safe touch. And we were in the room, you know, and I just thought that was really cool that after sitting down and going through this book, that they were already discerning whether or not the doctor was practicing, you know, safe touch. And we all agreed that our doctor was. She's wonderful, wonderful pediatrician. And so I just thought, that's really cool. It's a short book. You can make it as long as you want. You can, you know, talk about things, or you can just keep reading. But I thought it just did a really great way of having a boy and a girl talking with their dad about safe touch and not focusing just on the scary stuff, like if someone touches your privates, but also in general too. Like I said, starting out at the basics. You don't put your hands on people if they don't want to be touched. You keep your hands to yourself. If somebody says stop, you stop. If you don't like something, you say stop. So if you are looking for this, I purchased this on Amazon, and it is by Justice, Mercy, Compassion. Okay, so it's the godly response to abuse in the Christian environment. That is kind of one of their little emblems here for this program. That, yeah, it's a great book. So check it out if you get a chance. This is one that I'm definitely going to be keeping in my book stash for reference books. This year in Classic Conversations, we're going to be talking about the body. And so I thought, this is probably a good time for us to start talking about body control or respect and things like that. So yeah, I hope this video was helpful. If you enjoyed this book review, let me know. I have a lot of books that I want to get out to friends and family who are considering homeschooling, or just books that are good to have in your family. So if this was helpful to you, let me know in the comments, and